beneficial because you're live. So join live if you can, but I always record these and post. So you see that in the weekly reflection. Did you watch the instructor hangout? So if you join live, the answer is yes, or if you watch the recording, the answer is yes. And we'll I mentioned a survey. I still need to get a survey out and see what the class wants to do. In some courses I've met weekly, in others we've met every other week, which worked out really well as well because you guys are busy enough. So
yeah.
Kind of put your 2 cents on that. You have plenty to do. So
True.
Good deal. Well, Beth was getting ready to move to Pennsylvania. So are you familiar with that area?
Wow.
Yeah, we got some time. We're taking our sweet time on that.
Taking time. Well, that's good. You don't want to be in a hurry, so if you don't have to. And then Cindy, remind us where you're from.
Portland, Oregon area.
See, that was on my list. Right there.
Beth was doing market research of where to move to. So.
Yeah. We love it out here.
It was beautiful. It was one of the top choices, but it ended up going to Pennsylvania.
Staying on the East Coast, huh?
Well, I'm actually from the West Coast. I've lived all over California, but we were going with the larger population for a business.
Yeah.
Larger, just consumer population. So that was kind of the big draw. Was there's 20 million people in New York, 6 million people in DC, and 6 million people in Philadelphia. So that is contrary to the 3.73 million that are in the Seattle-Tacoma area and the 369 in Eugene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Well, yeah, this is kind of, I call this week setup week. So just first off, I always start these out kind of the housekeeping items if you have questions. First item for me is, did you get your group assignment? Any questions on that or concerns?
No, we got that. And I sent out an email to the group and just said, hey, let's decide what our specific time will be, what day and time. Okay. But I haven't heard anything back yet, so hopefully soon.
All right. Yeah. So for everybody, just be sure to be reaching back. Hop back into the iLearn where you signed up. I think there's some that probably left phone numbers. I didn't gather all of those. I just put your BYUI emails in there. So check your emails and get working together so you can coordinate.
Okay.
And that's probably the best practice, is just set a regular, consistent time so it's blocked out, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
How about you, Cindy? Heard from anybody?
Yeah, Fernando started it, and who else was on there? Madison was on there. So somebody started it. We'll see how it goes from there.
Okay. Yeah, getting the ball rolling. Good.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any questions about that, about the group, or what questions do you have about the course?
I didn't have any specifically, but I noticed on the discussion board, they were asking what we're supposed to be posting and meeting as groups about. And I guess it was in the quiz, at the end, the what you've accomplished quiz.
Oh, the reflection. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get an email out tonight about that. Valid question. We're not doing as much this week. It's kind of a setup. Or a setup week. So yeah, you'll just kind of answer in the affirmative. Basically, is the biggest thing is getting started and coordinating a meeting time with your group.
Okay.
And then joining this hangout or watching this hangout. So it's kind of a free pass on this week's weekly reflection. So
those are always nice.
Yeah. But starting next week, we'll jump into course content. We'll talk about team building.
Okay.
And there's a fun little case study that we'll go over. So that's what you're doing on a weekly basis. You're kind of discussing, we're following the learning model. So, the idea is prepare with the case, kind of do your own learning, and then discuss the case as a group, teach one another, and then you ponder and improve. So these case studies are open-ended, and so you really get to draw a lot of conclusions, and there's a lot of variety on what you can discuss because it's based on what everybody's experience is. And
yeah.
And it's a great way to learn. It's actually the way they do things at the Harvard Business School.
Oh,
So
really? Cool.
we're lucky to have those Harvard business cases. That's something that BYU Idaho is able to subscribe to and get linked up with, so that we could have that type of learning. So it makes it fun.
Okay, so on these, you want us to, that's the
Oh, that first
Yeah.
practice case,
Auto
Wizard.
so you want us to just, we don't have to print it out, but we just kind of have to scribble our ideas on it and show you that, and then write whatever summary we're supposed to write.
Yeah, it's really an exercise in kind of working through that case study model, note taking, kind of marking it up,
I
and
hate
showing.
that I haven't done this yet. I hope it'll let me turn it in.
Yeah, and you can print out and mark it up, physically, or I've had people mark it up electronically. However you want to do that, I'm good with it, because I know there's a lot of different ways that people study. So.
All right.
Yep.
Hi, Kristen.
Hello.
Hi, Kristen.
Hello.
Welcome. Yeah, so good question. So yeah, this first week's just kind of getting things going. Other questions that you have?
Yeah, what do you want us to do?
Not yet.
The submission.
Okay.
Or
So, I guess where I was headed, the other part of your group is we're throughout the semester, we're acting as consultants for the Doohickeys company. So there's the Doohickeys case, and
Awesome.
it's a pretty short case, but it's a mock company, of course, but you'll realize that it's wrought with a lot of problems, and we're going to write papers every few weeks about that company, focusing on the topics that we've discussed previously. So you're kind of working through the cases together, and then ongoing you're working through the Doohickeys problem and writing those papers. So the group work becomes very important, and you'll get to know your group really well, and make it fun, learn from it. My little plug for Doohickeys is a couple semesters ago, one of my students at the end of the semester wrote me an email, and she said, okay, so I started the course and I laughed about this Doohickeys problem because it's called Doohickeys, and it's about this manufacturing firm, and I hadn't had any of that experience. Well, she ended up getting a job, and it was in a manufacturing environment. She got walked in, didn't really get oriented, didn't know where the bathroom was, and she says, oh no, I'm in Doohickeys. She had a real life experience with Doohickeys,
Awesome.
and she said, so I am grateful for that experience, because it definitely helped. So, but the biggest thing is drawing application from it to whatever we're doing or want to be doing. So.
All right.
Kristen had a question.
Yeah, I could hear you, but not very loudly.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
That's a lot better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So for this week's submission, for the group submission, what is it you're looking for?
Not much. That's what I was saying. It's kind of a easy week, just getting set up. The biggest thing is just coordinating a time with your group and getting that ball rolling. So as far as the self-reflection goes, you can just answer in the affirmative if you've made the contact and are getting.
Okay, so on the discussion board, then you're not looking for any kind of a link to a video or any comments. We can just check that off.
Yeah, you can for this first week. You can meet, if you meet this week and do a video, that's fine. You can post it there, but you'll definitely want a video for next week when we start that first case. So,
Okay.
Yep, this is kind of the kickoff to get going. So,
Yep.
Good question. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. All right. Well, human resources has different interpretations for people. There's the old school kind of personnel office version of human resources. That's where you went to punch your time card type of deal. Or the common one, hey, I'm going to HR. I must be in trouble. I still get that one. Or the real goal of HR, I guess modern HR, is to be a partner of the business. a partner to the organization. So we'll be talking a lot about that. I'm going to put a lot of plug in for that. HR needs to know the language of the business. They need to know the operations so that they can meet the talent requirements, get the people processes in place to help the business reach its goals. So, that's kind of how I like to frame that. And just so you know about me, I've been teaching online for about 3.5 years, and I work during the day. I work full-time in human resources. So I'm an HR business partner for a large corporation that's actually a global corporation. I live in Pocatello, Idaho, and do all kinds of HR stuff every day. So I'll try to share whatever's going on currently in HR and in my world to, share some of that with you, and happy to answer any questions that you have. So it's definitely, people say, I don't know how you do HR. And I say, well, it's fascinating. It's really a position where you're in the middle of trying to do what's best and what's right for the company and what is best for the employee at the same time. So that leaves a lot of decision making, that you want to make sure you have the right processes in place and that you're in the right mindset. So whatever experience you've had with HR or whatever that perception is, we hope to add to that. We hope to enhance that. And usually there's always a few people that say, hey, I've never considered HR as a career path, but through this course they're able to maybe reconsider that. So it makes it fun.
Now, there's many different aspects to HR, so it depends on what area you want to get into. I know I work at a school district, so our HR has to deal with the unions.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So it's like when you hear that you've got to watch out for the company and watch out for the employee, I'm like, yeah, I think sometimes you guys are watching out more for the company than you are for the employee. Because we got some, we're the classified group, so we feel like we're lower on the totem pole. And so, although we do a lot and we're really important, we kind of get the shaft sometimes.
Yeah, and that's a great comment. That's one of the perceptions that happens, and it's just how things are designed in the organization. For a school district, you throw a union in there. Yeah, that's a third level. You got to keep the union happy. You've got to keep the school district happy, and then we'll do our best to keep the employees happy. But
we're in a similar position with my husband's job. They've got a union who seems to want to accommodate the company more than the employees, and it's just very frustrating because we're stuck and nobody seems to know. For example, we were forced into healthcare. They took our entire health and welfare, but the healthcare price was only $500, while the other was $800 a month. So the rest of that money is just floating around somewhere. Nobody knows where it is. Well, they know where it is, but nobody's putting forth any effort to get it to us. So it's a little frustrating. And I hope I learn more about that throughout the course and how to handle that, and if we're going to deal with unions and best way to go about that.
Yeah, no, we can definitely discuss that, and definitely keep these thoughts in your mind of how do we find that balance? How do we keep organizations going while keeping employees happy at the same time? Is that possible? That's a good question to consider. And we will have a section about organized labor, so we'll talk about unions.
Oh, good.
And how they operate a little bit. We'll focus a lot on the negotiation part of that, and I also like to discuss kind of the pros and cons. Are unions a good thing or a bad thing? And there's opinions on both sides.
Yeah.
I have to run, but thank you for today, and I'm with you as we go.
You bet. Yeah. Thanks, Beth, for joining.
Bye, Cindy.
Bye.
All right. Well, I just wanted to share a scripture. So what I've found that's really neat with this course is if we can identify principles that apply, they usually apply in most settings. So, a principle that applies to HR or leadership we can usually apply, of course, in the workplace. We can apply it in our homes, in our personal lives, in our church responsibilities, and then we can put that all together. And I found that that's most, for me anyway, that's what's exciting about learning, is trying to make those connections, and then we can make the application. And there's a scripture in Doctrine and Covenants 107, 99 through 100. We heard this from Elder Bednar. If you heard the Elder Bednar talk, he says, "Wherefore now let every man learn his duty, and to act in the office in which he is appointed in all diligence. He that is slothful shall not be counted worthy to stand, and he that learns not his duty and shows himself not approved shall not be counted worthy to stand." I think, if we can help each other learn our duties, and I think if organizations can take the people that they've hired and help them expand their talents and become excellent in their duties, I think then, we can be successful. So those scriptures are always neat to consider in that kind of vantage point. And so we'll do that throughout the semester and discuss that. So,
All right.
thanks for joining. Do you have any other questions or thoughts, Cindy?
Not at the moment. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, we'll plan on having these hangouts probably kind of every other week, or whatever the team decides, and we'll go from there. So good luck with your group. If you have any questions, you guys just email me, give me a call. Text message is great. I'm working throughout the day, but I can usually respond to an email or especially a text pretty quickly. So
yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks so much. You bet. Take care.
Good night.
You too. Good night.